Okay, we're on All's Well That Ends Well, and I said last time that we kind of speculated that maybe since this is sort of the last stretch of season one, that maybe they were trying to do like a season one capstone, sort of getting into how the Pony Gang or like the Kingdom's heroes, how they uh, go together, how they are might even, I mean, how maybe friends are destined to be together, and these friends are, yeah, destined to come together for these challenges and stuff, like growing into the role of the Kingdom's heroes and all that. But okay, but yeah, it looks like I was not at all that. It's really not what they're doing because this one they seem to be right back to just sort of standalone episodes. So I mean, I'm guessing that okay, each episode is. I mean, unless this one is the sort of very loose take on how Spike fits into all of this, how he's part of the gang too. But yeah, I don't think so. This it looks like they're just still doing each episode as its own thing. So all right, and but this is really the first episode that's about Spike. I mean, he shared the spotlight with Rarity in that Dog and Pony Show episode, but now this is the first one that's really about him because the last one sort of became about him, but it was trying to be about Rarity. But okay, this one's about him. And it starts with Twilight packing up to meet her friends at this big meteor shower that only happens once every 100 years. So we're going to have this great picnic late into the night, get to see this once in a lifetime thing. So all of that. And Spike's helping her pack up, doing a pretty good job. So she starts uh, going on about how great it is to have him as her number one assistant, so we can telegraph how that's going to be called into question later. Because, yeah, this, well, I mean, nobody's gone on about him like that before, so of course it's obvious that that's what we're covering now. But, all right, and he does a great job, except for the last part when she asks him to go get a book that she wants to bring to help her study the stars and stuff. He runs up the ladder, he finds the book just fine, and then he opens it, but then he sneezes and he accidentally shoots it with his fire breath. And actually, I thought that every time he shoots the paper with his fire breath, it's supposed to send it to the princess, but no, it looks like it just burns it to a crisp. So no idea how the magic fire breath works, but regardless, it screws him over this time. So he just kind of tries to put it back and pretend he couldn't find it, and it gets him off the hook for now. And I mean, he kind of changes the subject by flattering Twilight, buttering her up. So he, yeah, still in her good graces, and then because he's made great snacks for the event and everything, everyone else starts going on about how great he is because they're really telegraphing it, I should say. Like Rarity makes him this bow tie with the gems that look like they're glued onto. I still say they look like just plastic gems that somebody, the little girls, glue onto stuff, and so they can say that they've bedazzled whatever it was. But no, I mean, I do get it though. They're supposed to be uh, totally valuable gems that just make everything better. But yeah, okay, I should just stop going on about that. But let that be what it is. But I'm a smart aleck. What can I say? Anyway, so yeah, the meteor shower happens. It's a really nice event for everybody. Spike, though, starts to get tired because he's just a baby, and or they say at least he's just a baby dragon, even though you think he'd be more the Cutie Mark Crusader's age. They're briefly in this too, by the way. Scootaloo still carrying over with that hero worship from Rainbow Dash, but for Rainbow Dash rather. But anyway, though, he's too young to stay up late, and that's where we get the next part of this episode, where after Twilight takes him home, tucks him in all affectionately. She stays up late to study alone, and she loses a scroll when the wind blows it out the window. She loses the one she had a lot of important information on. So just when she's about to panic, this owl flies in through the window with her scroll, returns it to her. He's kind of shivering because it's a cold night. So she invites him to stay with her, keep her company, and also, yeah, well, stay in from the cold. But then the next day, they're fast friends. She has sort of made him her new assistant, so now she has two. But when Spike hears about this, of course, conflict gets going. He's really, man, he's paranoid. He doesn't want a new assistant around as his rival. I thought, yeah, I was the only one in the spotlight. I'd get the glory and all that. But because he was sort of showboating it before too, like false modesty, trying to get the others to praise him a little bit more even. I mean, harmless, but, a little bit of a glory hound. But anyway, but now that's all. That's all feels threatened, so he doesn't like it. Twilight doesn't even seem to see the problem with it. She just walks out, tells them to introduce themselves, and Spike starts talking to the owl, who can only make the who sound. So we do that old routine where he thinks the who noise means he's asking who, and yeah, every combination you could think of, except for my favorite joke with that, which is person one. Hey man, this owl is a wise guy. Every time I try to tell him something, he just asks who. And what the heck's the matter with you? Owls who? You some kind of idiot? Hey, so what if I don't know his last name? No, they don't do that, but rest assured it's still every bit as bad without it. So, okay, finally Spike just gets fed up with it, storms out the door. It's like, okay, this owl's trying to upstage me. I better step it up. So, and then it becomes the full-blown rival who can do anything better than you plot, because, yeah, now, of course, that Aloysius always has a way to do it better than he does. Like, Twilight asks him to get a book, he has to get a ladder to get the top shelf. Aloysius can just fly up there, so, yeah, he wins at every turn, and then, Twilight breaks her feather quill, so she needs a new one. Spike, there's none left. Twilight tries to call after him as he's running out, go tearing through Ponyville to see if he can find the feather quill. Pinkie Pie doesn't have one. She has everything that sounds like quill, so we can do another familiar routine there. And then he runs over to a chicken coop, and slightly surreal sight, he starts chasing a chicken all over the place, a baby dragon chasing a chicken, so he can pull a feather off of it. And he finally makes it back with a tiny feather, all tired out, and of course Twilight tells him that Aloysius has done the obvious, so she already has a feather quill, and he flares up. He is about to storm off, do his chores, although asking, did Aloysius already do them for me too? But then he can't even do that because he passes out from exhausting himself, and Twilight's getting worried, but she thinks he'll come around. She's hoping that this will turn out okay. And in fact, I should have said they had a brief moment with her friends earlier where she was showing them Aloysius, and Pinkie Pie, the only joke I've ever not gotten and been 100% sure it was a bad joke. She says, I'm hooped, or it sounded like she said hooped, and I mean, the only guess I can say, like, oh, what a great little bird friend, I'm hooped, and I'm guessing that was actually supposed to be hooked, like, or I just misheard it, like she said, I'm hooked, as in she's hooked on Aloysius, but, if that sounded confusing as could be, that's because it is confusing as could be. I have no idea, honestly, that's my only guess as to what they were going for there, and if that's what they were going for, it's not funny. I'm seriously doubting whatever, other option, whatever else it could have been was funny, but, anyway, they were cooing over Aloysius, and Rarity gave him another bow tie just like she gave Spike, so of course Spike is really jealous there. Twilight was just saying to them, Spike's not the jealous type, and of course he is, but okay. So, flashback to that scene over, cut forward to Twilight now worried as Spike's asleep, hoping he's going to be okay, and then the episode decides that that's the perfect time to turn her against Spike, because then Aloysius finds the book he burnt up, and she's really mad at him about that, really disappointed that he lied and everything like that. So now Spike decides that, okay, that's it, first round over, and he already wants Aloysius down for the count. So he tries to frame him. He swipes one of the mouse toys that Rarity gives to her cat. I don't know if we've seen that before. Whatever. He takes it back, he rips it up, because as we all know, mouse guts are made of cotton, and he pours ketchup on it and throws feathers from a pillow everywhere to make it look like Aloysius did it. Owls eat mice, so he wants it to look like Aloysius ripped up a mouse, and I mean, they're implying real mouse guts everywhere. I don't know if that's, I almost wonder if that's pushing the limits for a kid show. I don't think it is. I'm wondering if they had to sort of argue for it a little, but anyway, And then, of course, because the episode hasn't crapped on Spike enough yet, Twilight catches him in the act, and it just comes across as this pathetic attempt that never had a chance of working. And and it probably didn't, because mouse guts don't look like cotton, but I don't know. The episode knew that, so whatever. But anyway, now Twilight's really mad at him. She tells him, "This is not the Spike I know and love," and that it's Spike right through the heart, crushes him. Yeah, he thinks that she means that more like permanently or whatever. She doesn't love him anymore, are his words. So, okay, he's decides that that's all he can take. He packs up and leaves with the generic sack of belongings on a stick over his shoulder, and he starts raining. He finds himself a cave, finds it's full of gems, but he eats his fill. Doesn't really make him feel any better. And then he discovers too little too late that a giant dragon is in this cave. That's why all the gems are there. They're the dragon's treasure collection. Should look into more if that's a common thing with dragon. Well, no, okay. In fairy tales, they do guard treasure. I don't know if that was ever for themselves, but whatever. Okay, so Spike tries to hold his ground after it becomes clear the dragon isn't having any. He just wants to tear Spike apart, but that's kind of a lost cause because Spike is like 1/100th its size, and yeah, no, this is the second dragon in the to show up to. The last one was supposed to be a really big deal. This one just kind of resolves itself. But anyway, cut to the rest of the scene though. At the last second, Twilight and Aloysius show up to save Spike. Aloysius starts flying around the dragon's head, or the big dragon's head, distracting it. Spike runs off, jumps on Twilight's back. They bolt for it. Aloysius guides them through the dark forest because he has night vision, so they make it out. The dragon loses them, and Twilight and Spike make up. They have their little heart-to-heart. How Twilight doesn't think anyone could ever replace Spike, even if she was disappointed with him. And what else? I don't know. She should have been more sensitive. And Spike apologizes. He still doesn't get the fact that Aloysius says who, but okay, he just wants there to be no hard feelings. He goes back and Twilight asks him to write the letter to Princess Celestia about the lesson he's learned. And so, okay, he does. He falls asleep right before he can get to the last part. And that's the episode. So, Aloysius turns his head and winks at the camera. So, okay, he can break the fourth wall now. But, alright. This episode, well, I warned I didn't like the rival who can do anything better than you plot. I think I said back with the Trixie episode, and I mean, I don't know. This one, a lot of back and forth there. I mean, back in episode 14 with Rarity, they did a really good job convincing us that in spite of everything Rarity does wrong, her faults, that she is totally a good, noble soul, that she's great to have around as a friend, and this episode really doesn't swing for the fence like that with Spike. You know, I kept waiting for them to sort of show how he has to rise to this challenge and draw out his good qualities, and I mean, instead they just kind of seemed more impressed with Aloysius. I mean, it was just sort of the generic rival who can do anything better than you plot, and it never stopped being that. It was just sort of that the whole way through. Well, when it came to Spike, it was, and I mean, even at the very end, where you'd think it would be, okay, he has to do some soul searching and at least discover why this can't be how it is, or at least step it up in some way. He doesn't. It just Aloysius and Twilight save him. All he really does is apologize and have his little heart-to-heart with Twilight. But yeah, he doesn't like actively do anything. He just sort of follows the formula. So I mean, okay, that was kind of rough. Well, I didn't appreciate it anyway. But I mean, I said they were kind of telegraphing everything that was going to happen with him, and also it seems to really. I mean, they strain the relationship with Twilight and Spike, so it seems to really beg the question, okay, what is it made of? What do they mean to each other? Let's get into that, but because this is Aloysius' debut episode, they need to give time to him, so we really don't get a lot of exploration of the relationship with Twilight and Spike. It just sort of I mean, they do a little bit at the end, which was nice, but otherwise, yeah, it really doesn't go above and beyond like a lot of the other episodes have. But there are things I did like about it too. I like the meteor shower opening and sort of exploring what Spike means to the gang. So I mean, it's not just Spike. I mean, there is, even though he doesn't really come back from his fall, at least he does have a place to fall from. That they do really appreciate him, and I mean, it's implied that they still do at the end. So okay, and I mean, it was just sort of a nice scene, that kind of little evening adventure that I guess happy memories are made of. So nice for what it was. I like the concept of Aloysius. I think that, him coming in, making friends with Twilight, that was kind of cute. And I mean, and just the character too. I mean, like you can never totally tell what he's thinking, but he's thinking something. It's just like, I don't know. Sometimes it seems like he's watching maliciously, like, okay, maybe he does kind of want to get the best of Spike, but then other times it seems like he's just trying to help. I mean, when he first shows up, he's kind of shivering. It's like he's just trying to do a good deed. So, okay, and by the end, we do discover that, no, he's just trying to help. He's a good guy, even if he is a little mysterious. But, what else? The Climax 2 with the dragon was kind of fun. It was decently paced, so okay, there was that. Spike chasing a chicken. There are a couple of fun scenes, and even if the middle portion was frustrating, there were a couple of fun scenes in it. And I really don't get that joke with Pinkie Pie, so point off for that. So either way, it's very, very marginal. Whichever way I go with this episode. And in the end, I'm going to say that I am glad that I saw it, more or less. I am glad that I have looked at least a little bit into what Twilight and Spike mean to each other. I'm glad that I got to see them try their hand at the idea they had with Aloysius. So, okay, I mean, it's annoying, it's subpar, but it is watchable, so we'll say the lowest vote that's still a recommendation that I can give. I'm sure they'll be flattered. That's such a compliment, the writers. But, okay. So, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. The next one is Party of One. So, okay. Somebody else going to be ostracized this next time? We'll see. But, hopefully, if so, it's done better than it was here. But, no, I mean, yeah, even, this episode, like for an average show, this wouldn't be too, well, even for that, it might be a little bit below average, but I guess still worth noting that an episode like this really stands out in this particular show because it's so far below their standard. So, okay, I guess that even this is like further proof that Friendship is Magic is at least an above average show. So, okay, all in all, not too shaken this time, even though it wasn't quite up to par. I'm fine seeing this. I'm still looking forward to the next one. So, see you there.